And welcome to SVG-TV News for Tuesday, October 6, 2015. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. President of the National Omnibus Association, Anthony Bacchus, says a premature conclusion was drawn that his organization will not join with the teachers' union in pressuring the government to meet their respective demands, and now they are standing on their own. In an interview with SVG-TV News earlier today, Bacchus explains that the only decision taken at Sunday's meeting was for members of NOBA's executive to meet with government officials on Monday, October 5th, and by the time they get around to speak in again to the teachers' union representative present, who were asked to wait outside, they had already left.
So you didn't make a decision not to support the
No, we never made a decision. The teachers, we couldn't have made a decision because they left.
But why is it that we are reading something else to say that you guys are, say you're not joining the teachers?
I don't know where he got it from. I don't know, his hearsay. He might have heard it through hearsay. I never told Mr. Robinson that we made a decision and we're not going to support him. I told Mr. Kenton Chance, due to the fact that they left, we never came up with a decision. We don't want to have nothing to do with it, because he was supposed to wait and for us to come with a decision.
Well, I guess there was some miscommunication because Mr. Robinson, we spoke to him yesterday, and he's saying that you had told him that you will call him in terms of any decision taken.
No, you
told him that you will call him. He said he's still waiting for you to.
No, and I'm not going to. I told him, everybody was there. I told him to wait, Rochelle. I told him to wait outside. When we looked, they were gone. Okay.
So as it stands now, what's your position now?
As it stands right now, and since Mr. Robinson came out and said that NOBA set him up, and we said that we're not going to support him, this is how it stands, just like he said. He called the shot. Okay? We're not going to support him. Because what he did, he didn't wait. Him and his colleagues, they left. Right? So when they left, we went on with our meeting on how to proceed with the strike.
In relation to Monday's meeting held with the government officials, including Senator Julian Francis and Police Commissioner Michael Charles, the NOBA president says they outlined several issues they would like to see addressed immediately, and until then, next week's planned strike action is still on.
Still on to when?
Monday the 12th. The 12th. Okay, nothing has been changed. Now, Mr. Francis, I read in the papers where Mr. Francis said that the first strike is off. I didn't hear him say so. I read it in the papers. Searchlight interviewed him, and they put Mr. Francis says strike is off. NOBA says strike still on. Now, I don't know if Mr. Francis said the strike will be off because he's going to grant us our what we ask. You understand? Maybe he said that knowing we're going to get what we ask. You understand? Being positive now. But I don't know. You know, I'm supposed to get this answer on Wednesday or Thursday. Okay? Once we get what we want, I could tell you on TV the strike will be off. Because there's no sense striking and you're getting what you want. Okay? So all the other things that people are introducing and their own stories and slandering and, you know, giving bad remarks and statements about me is okay. You understand? God is my provider.
As for the support of NOBA's membership, Bacchus says members and non-members are 100% behind the organization and the issues they are seeking to have addressed.
The majority of the people in St. Vincent and the minibus drivers, they are fed up with the roads. They want to strike. Right? They are ready from Chateaubriand up to Georgetown. They are ready to strike because of the roads. Now, they might say Georgetown roads are good, but sometimes they have to come off of that road, go up in like Dixon and so forth. Do you understand? So the support that we get in about the strike is pretty strong. Okay, up to today I was in the Leeward bus terminal and they're coming up to me, Code Red, when is the strike? Is it still going to read any papers? I say, yeah, the strike's still on until we get further notice. When we get further notice, it will be announced to you. So we get no good feedback, Rochelle, because the people are fed up with the roads. They're really fed up. Not only the bus drivers, but everybody. But I would like to say one thing, that a lot of people in St. Vincent, is pushing for the minibuses to strike for political reason, to interfere with the government process. You understand what I'm saying? They would like to see the place shut down just for nothing, to damage up the government. We're not with that, Rochelle. And if I said we're not with that, oh, you sell out. You understand? That's the first thing coming to them out. Korea, they sell out. You understand? We cannot just go and strike for no reason.
Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves has weighed in on the National Omnibus Association's threat to strike and says giving building materials to persons affected by natural disasters is not a crime. Addressing the issue at a media conference yesterday, Prime Minister Gonsalves says that he appreciates the contributions of the Minibus Association. However, he says there are limitations in the service which they provide to the Vincentian public. According to the Prime Minister, now is not the time to be forgetful of the work that his administration has done, which is more than any other government has done in the history of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
We gathered pieces of monies from different agencies, plus our own, what we borrowed, what we got as grants. And we spent nearly $140 million from Zion Hill, go right up to Fancy, including building the bridge over Rabaca. Just want to remind everybody of that. I want to remind everybody too that we have done tremendous work on the other highway in the middle of the island, the VG highway, and there's work still being ongoing as I speak. I want to say this further, that we have done work on the Leeward Highway, including the city fence at Leyu. If we didn't do that city fence, you'd have to take boat to go for any place northwest of Leyu. I just want to remind people, because they tend to forget.
Additionally, the Prime Minister says it is very clear that a lot of the roads in the country have been poorly constructed, and added that the devastation of the numerous natural disasters over the years has caused a much quicker deterioration of the road network, which is evident today. In reference to the claims by the President of the National Omnibus Association that the government is spending a lot of money on building materials and neglecting the roads, the Prime Minister says that it is an irrelevant issue, since the money spent to reconstruct the roads have been spent while the building materials are not yet paid for because of a credit agreement.
When I hear the discussion that the money which we take to the $4.5 million, which we take to get to buy materials, lumber, galvanized cement, steel, and the like, to distribute to poor people, that money could be going on the road. What they think is the $26 million, which I'm spending at the moment down on the South Leeward Highway. You don't think I borrow it? And I want to ask this question. Since when providing building materials for poor people is a crime? Since when that should be the occasion for minibus to withdraw their service? I don't say strike, because the only minibus you can't strike on yourself, and you can't strike against your customer. The $4.5 million for these materials, I haven't spent the money. I got credit. 1 year credit is from next year I'm paying the money.
Quoting figures of $26 million to reconstruct the South Leeward Highway from the Hospital Road to the Lay Post Office, Dr. Gonsalves says that the government has been involved in road works for a while now and will continue to do so in an effort to facilitate nationwide development.
The work is being done very, very quickly. And a lot of work is being done in the countryside. Some had been done earlier. One of the first roads done by the Zippers is the one that Camilo got the Ministry of Works to do up in Fairhall. What would have taken 2 months to do is done in 2 days. what it take 3 months would be done in 3 days and so on, and we're moving. I could appreciate, and I'm not saying that there are not some roads which are bad, you know, and I'm not saying that the minibus men are not correct to complain about the roads. They have done that in the past in Bel Air, and every time that has happened, we have not gone, we haven't cursed them, we haven't ignored them, we haven't bad talked them. We can't do that, because I said they make an important contribution, and I understand the problem. I mean, I don't know why we create these unnecessary wars. So please, let us, because there's a thing now, anytime you're doing something for poor people, you have some people knocking it. They're behaving like the Republican right wing, like Fox News. I mean, we must stop it. We're trying to reduce poverty. We want to move to zero hunger.
The increasing number of vehicles on the nation's roads has drastically increased the risk for accidents to occur. That's according to the General Manager of Century West Indian Insurances Limited, Fidel Taylor, who was a panelist on Sunday's Hit Stock program, looking at the safety of persons traveling to and from political meetings and the risk of riding on the backs of trucks with no protective gear. Taylor says the police must enforce the necessary regulations as well as have stronger police presence on the roads during these times, pointing out that as manager of an insurance company, if anyone gets injured or dies from an accident while traveling on the back of a truck without adequate seating and cover, it is not likely they will receive compensation, as the insurance companies can deny the claim for breach of contract.
This must not only be forbidden only at election times, because that will show partiality to one side and not the other. This is something that must be done across the board at all times for all persons, and in doing so, it will help to bring order on our roads and it will save the lives of our people. Gentlemen, it is a very high risk from the standpoint of an insurance company to be transporting people in the back of trucks. So should something happen, they will fly out, especially on these mountainous terrains that we have. They are really exposed to greater harm, greater danger. And that's why insurance companies do not, in most cases, permit insurance cover for that.
Traffic Corps Station Sergeant Junior Nero says drivers have a responsibility to navigate the roads with sense and caution, no matter what type of vehicle they operate or the number of passengers they are carrying. Nero further warns drivers that it is an offense to use vehicles for anything other than the purpose that it was meant for, because if caught, they can be charged.
I'm not going to say trucks, let me say vehicles traveling to and from election activities. Now, when it comes to safety is paramount for the police. It is so important that persons must ensure that their vehicles are licensed before they use them on the road, ensure that the vehicles are insured, ensure that the driver himself should ensure that he has the license to drive that particular vehicle. He should ensure that the tires on that vehicle are roadworthy. 483, Section 11, 1B, and it says, any motor vehicle or trailer used upon any road for the purpose which is not authorized by the license issued in respect thereof, or in contravention of this act, the driver and the owner of the motor vehicle is each guilty of an offense.
The police is seeking the public's assistance in locating this young man, Denzel Sam, aka Scammy or Scammy, a 31-year-old resident of Old Montrose. He is said to be wanted in connection with numerous shooting incidences. The description given by police is that he is 5 feet 3 inches tall, dark brown in complexion with brown eyes, a narrow face and thick lips, as well as a tattoo of a dice on the right side of his neck. The subject is said to be armed and very dangerous. Persons with information on his whereabouts are asked to contact the officer in charge at the CID or any police station. The visit by President of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, to this country today was cancelled. Communication consultant in the office of the Prime Minister, Elson Crick, says the president's visit to SVG has been postponed to a date to be announced. President Maduro was scheduled to arrive here at around 10:30 a.m., after which he was expected to head to the Argyle International Airport for a site visit. The president was then scheduled to go to the residence of the Prime Minister, where a bilateral meeting was to be held between both leaders. He was expected to leave the country around 2:30 p.m. Prime Minister and leader of the ruling Unity Labour Party, the ULP, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, says that despite being heavily criticized, the Universal Secondary program has been a success for his administration. Dr. Gonsalves, who was speaking at a ULP meeting in Diamonds in the South Central Windward constituency last Sunday, says this is something that voters can see the ULP has effectively executed.
And I said that we are going to have universal secondary education in 5 years, by 2005. They say he's a crazy man. They say Dr. Debnat should take me and put me in some white coat and take me to the mental home. Because he's a crazy man. You forget that? I want to remind you, we started to build timber schools. They say, look at what Ralph doing. Putting people picnic in board school. I say, I will put them in trash house if I have to. I could put them under a tree if I must. But they will all get a secondary education.
And MP for the South Central Windward seat and Minister of Agriculture, Sabota Caesar, says the party continues to make improvements to this country. Caesar outlined several projects throughout his constituency that have helped persons in his community and promised to continue to serve the people. Caesar says the opposition New Democratic Party, the NDP, while it was in power, destroyed the banana industry and questioned why during its era more than 50% of farmers left the industry. He also remarked that the NDP left the banana sector with a $30 million debt and the party still does not have any solution for the industry.
Why did the NDP leave the banana industry in a debt of $30 million in 2001? When they lost the election in this country, tell us why. The NDP did not have a solution for bananas then, and they still don't have a solution. All they on the radio, blah, 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 them out, talking about them want no, and them no about banana what? The NDP must also answer this question, and answer it now. Why in 1992 we had over 7,000 active banana farmers in this country? NDP was in power at that time. 7,000 active banana farmers. And by 2001, when they were voted out of office, over 4,000 banana farmers had already left the industry, leaving 3,000 and a little bit. NDP must answer that question as to why.
Caesar says the ULP is working towards restoring the banana industry despite 5-year setbacks by natural disasters.
Hurricanes and droughts, floods, pests and diseases. And it took hard, dedicated and strategic work under a Unity Labour Party government to keep agriculture afloat amidst all these disasters. In 2010, when 98% of our bananas were blown down, we were exporting less than 2 pallets per week. Hux is here. We are working working to rebuild the banana industry, and we are exporting today over 80 pallets per week. And I want to thank the hard-working banana farmers who are sticking with the industry to the thick and to the thin.
Former New Democratic Party NDP candidate for Central Leeward, Norrell Hull, is encouraging voters to cast their ballots for the NDP in the upcoming general elections. Hull says a vote for the NDP means that the country will gain a Prime Minister with expertise and integrity.
That when you go to the polls, you are not only voting for the candidate, you are voting for the Honorable Annie Musas as the next Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. My brothers and sisters, behind me stands our set men and women of integrity. Men and women you can depend on. Men and women who will go to work for you. And that is what St. Vincent is asking for. And that is what your candidate for Central Leeward is asking for.
According to Hull, when the bell rings for general elections, it will also toll to indicate the death of the ruling Unity Labour Party.
Bell rings, you've got to be ready. But after the ringing of that bell, there will be a tolling of another bell. The bell will toll to signal the death of the Unity Labour Party. And when that bell is tolled, my brothers and sisters, wake up in the morning, get on your knees, put your hands in the air, and sing or say, "Free at last! Free at last! Thank God we are free at last!" The Unity Labour Party is dead and buried, and Central Leeward is a part of that, and we will be alive again.